Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Bridgestone is honored to be at Electrify Expo to share some very important news to support the growing numbers of electrified vehicles on the road and increase the appeal and longevity of tires for the best-selling EVs in the market today. Now, we have about 20 minutes and 3 speakers for you today. First up, we've got Riccardo Cicchi, President of our Core Tire Group and our Chief Sales Officer. Riccardo will outline our commitment to sustainability, our growth plans for EVs, and our enlightened strategy to advance both performance and sustainability. You'll then hear from Will Robbins, our Director of Consumer Product Strategy, and how and why we're coming to market with our first ever dedicated EV tire, the Turanza EV, and what it's delivering for EV enthusiasts. And finally, Dale Harrigal, our Chief Engineer for Replacement Tire Development, will close out the presentation with some of the key features and technologies that make this an extraordinary new product for EV drivers. We are so thrilled to be a part of this gathering of electric vehicle ambassadors to share more about our approach to tire innovation for the EVs of today and well into the future. And with that, please join me in welcoming Riccardo Cicchi.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Steve. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here and for this opportunity to share some important developments from Bridgestone for the future of the electric vehicle market. You probably didn't anticipate that you'd be hearing about tires today, but tires are an absolute critical contributor to the progress we will make in ushering an electrified mobility future. Tires, of course, impact things like performance and range, but most importantly, tires carry life. And so we must ensure not only outstanding performance and improved sustainability, but also exceptional safety. These are the fundamental elements of what we're working toward at Bridgestone. Of course, we all understand the role electric vehicles have to play in our efforts to realize a cleaner, more sustainable, and low-emissions transportation system. And we see tires, as well as tire-centric solutions, as part of this drive for a better future. EVs, of course, offer tremendous performance benefits, low noise, and instantaneous torque being among the most appealing. But these factors, along with increased vehicle mass, have real implication for how we design tires. Today, we have numerous leading OE fitments for EVs, including the Mercedes EQS, the Volkswagen ID.4, and the upcoming fully electric Fisker Ocean. And this will expand quickly into the future. These efforts and many others at Bridgestone are propelled by our efforts to become a sustainable solution company, which is our vision, and by our E8 commitment, which establishes 8 core values, including efficiency, ecology, and energy, guiding decisions across every aspect of our business. As we go through this presentation, you will see how those values are being fulfilled in our development, our technology, and most critically, our products. At Bridgestone, we've set our own aggressive targets for reducing our environmental impact. Our 2050 goals include carbon neutrality and the tires made from 100% renewable and recyclable materials, with an interim target of 40% sustainable tires by 2030. Tires move our society, but they also have environmental implications. Today in North America, more than 250 million end-of-life tires are disposed of each year, and Bridgestone is working aggressively to address these issues. EVs, unfortunately, have the potential to magnify this challenge. Our research suggests that EVs go through a set of tires roughly 30% more quickly than their comparable ICE counterparts, which is one element that we will address with our EV tire design. At the center of our efforts is what we call Enlighten. Enlighten isn't a single technology, it's a suite of technologies that will continue to evolve over time. Enlighten technology is engineered to expand all-season performance for wet and winter conditions to provide longer wear life and incorporate more renewable materials. The essential aim is twofold: to deliver maximum performance and with the lowest environmental impact. That is Enlighten in a nutshell, and our plans call for the application of Enlighten technology to upwards of 90% of all our products by 2030. I'll leave it to my colleagues Will and Dale to share the details, but I do want to highlight one key new Enlighten technology launching on the Turanza EV, and that's a proprietary new polymer material called Peak Life. Peak Life is truly a breakthrough technology and the real silver bullet in the Turanza EV development, allowing Dale and his engineering team to expand the potential performance envelope of this tire. We're tremendously excited to share news of the Turanza EV with you here today and to explain its important role in optimizing the performance of today's most popular EVs. And now I'll turn it over to my colleague Will Robbins to share more of the details on the EV market and the thinking behind the innovative new tire. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Ricardo. Good morning, everyone. My name is Will Robbins. I'm the Director of Consumer Product Strategy here at Bridgestone. My team are the ones that look at the market, look at trends to understand what products we need in what segments to have the freshest, most competitive tire portfolio possible. So the Turanza EV that we're here to talk about today is really the answer to one of the most common questions that my team gets, and that is, what tires do you recommend for electric vehicles? So we've got a lot of great OE fitments, like what Ricardo mentioned, but there's a lot of other fitments out there that we see opportunity in. And so what we had to do was to look at the industry and understand where's the industry going, what fitments do we need to go after, and what performance do we need to deliver for those vehicles. So we'll take a quick look at the industry, and I think everyone understands that EVs are growing. Projections differ, but we expect over 30% of new sales to be EVs by the end of the decade. And then looking a little bit more long-term, within a couple of decades, we're going to reach that tipping point where over half of the vehicles on the road are electric. So it's super important for us to understand where those trends are going to be going for our portfolio health into the future. Taking a little bit deeper look, what we've seen is that California has really led the adoption of EVs, so no surprise there, but it's not just a California phenomenon anymore. So we've seen this go across the country, so we need products that are going to be able to perform in every market that exists out there in an all-season tire. So as we looked to what we needed to develop, we leveraged a lot of market research, so third-party partners like J.D. Power, to understand what do the owners of electric vehicles need in their tires. And what we find is that people love their electric vehicles. They love the driving experience, but they're less satisfied with the tires. So things like tread wear, traction performance, quiet, comfortable ride, these are all things that we see opportunities. Simultaneously with that, we see kind of a limited amount of options in the EV space for replacement tires, and so we see an opportunity to deliver a product that can fill those needs for those consumers. And so that brings us to the Turanza EV. So the primary thing here is to try to address those performance gaps that we see in satisfaction with OE tires. So number one is tread wear performance. So Ricardo talked about Peak Life polymer. That allows us to deliver a 50,000-mile tread wear warranty on the Turanza EV as tested and confirmed on these platforms. We've also got to deliver all of that other all-season performance, the quiet, comfortable ride, the traction in wet, the traction in winter, as well as protect the range performance via rolling resistance that we know is so critical for EV drivers. The other thing that we're tremendously excited about, and Ricardo touched on it, is as we continue our evolution into a sustainable solutions company, we are offering the Turanza EV with 50% renewable and recycled materials. So this is a huge step on our journey as that sustainable solutions company. So we talk a little bit more about the fitments that the Turanza EV is designed for. we really targeted 5 primary platforms that exist with pretty high replacement demand in the market. Tesla Model 3, S, X, Y, and then also the Ford Mustang Mach-E. So we did all of our development on these platforms to make sure that those wear claims, those winter claims, those are all directly related to these platforms, and that we can speak very concretely to the drivers of these vehicles. In addition to that, we also get really great coverage for a lot of the newer emerging EV vehicles from companies like Kia Hyundai, Lucid, and Polestar. And so overall, once all of these sizes get into the market, we're going to have about 70% coverage of all of the EVs on the road, really focusing in those new growing premium segments. So taking a look at the sizes themselves, we're going to have 18 total sizes here. I mentioned high rim diameter sizes for premium vehicles. 5 of these sizes are available today, get about 30% of that market coverage, and then over the next roughly 8 months, the other 13 sizes are going to get into the market to give us that total 70% coverage. So before I hand it off to Dale to talk about how the Turanza EV was made, I do want to leave with this, which is really, really important for us. So recently, within the last couple of weeks, we achieved ISCC certification, which is really what allows us to provide that transparency in our procurement and our manufacturing practices for the sustainable materials, and is really what allows us to deliver that 50% renewable and recycled materials in the Turanza EV. So now I'll hand it over to Dale to talk a little bit more about how the Turanza EV was made.
Thank you, Will. Again, thank you, Will, and thank you everyone into the audience for coming out today to learn how Bridgestone can enhance the appeal of EVs through our tires. I'm Dale Harrigal, Chief Engineer of Performance and Luxury Tire Development for Bridgestone at our Americas Technical Center in Akron, Ohio. At our Americas Technical Center, we have a team of over 400 engineers, scientists, and designers who work on the latest tire development technology for Bridgestone and Firestone in the North American market. We've heard from Ricardo and Will on the Turanza EV, why we did it, and the size of the prize, but I want to give you a little peek behind the curtain to the development process. Will mentioned how we targeted our development on the premium EVs, the most popular premium EVs. And that was a unique challenge for my team for a couple of reasons. One, we only had about 2 years to develop this tire, which really led to a fast-track development process for all of the technology in a tire like the Turanza EV. And secondly, typically my team would develop tires across a wide range of vehicles, a wide range of customer expectations. Focusing this development on these particular vehicles really allowed us to drive toward what the consumer needs in this segment. And it also created a unique challenge for Bridgestone in that we had quite a bit of investment in a fleet of EVs to do the tire testing and EV charging stations at our facilities in Texas and Acuña, Mexico, where we do the lion's share of our validation and testing. For the Turanza EV, we leaned into performance attributes from some of our premium products to try to combine those attributes into the Turanza EV tire. From performance tire attributes, we brought such things as W and Y speed rating, high load capacity, and performance handling. And from our touring tire attributes, we had things such as ride comfort, low noise using our Quiet Track technology, which I'll talk about more in a moment, and wet and winter handling. When we combined these attributes, we actually came up with a pretty good tire, but we still had a gap to wear life. If you remember Ricardo talking about EVs wearing tires about 30% faster, when we did the development in this way, we still had this wear life gap, and that's where the revolutionary Peak Life polymer comes in. Peak Life is a breakthrough new synthetic rubber compound that expands the total performance envelope of the tire. It gives us higher wear resistance and lower rolling resistance. The way Peak Life works is by increasing the bonding between the silica in the tread compound and the synthetic polymer. A typical synthetic polymer that we would use in one of our premium products bonds with the silica at about a 20% level. Peak Life increases that bonding to 50%. That gives us better wear life and improved rolling resistance. The chart to the right of this slide is a classic tire industry spider chart. We see the tire performance attributes around the chart, and then the gray line is the tire without peak life, and the orange line is what we were able to achieve with peak life. So with peak life, we have been able to achieve the 50,000 mile wear warranty and the reduction in the number of tires. And of course, number of sets used. And of course, a highly engineered tread compound, such as one using peak life, deserves a highly engineered pattern. So that's what we did for the Turanza EV. We talked about how we joined attributes from performance and touring tires, and you can see that here. From performance tires, we brought such things as wide shoulder ribs and wide center ribs for confident handling and excellent performance. From touring tires, we brought such things as open shoulder slots for water evacuation and hydroplaning resistance, full depth 3D sipes to provide consistent performance over the life of the tire and wear resistance. And we also incorporated our Bridgestone's proprietary Quiet Track technology, which is an in-groove technology which breaks up the sound as the tire rolls down the road, giving the consumer a quieter ride. All told, we're proud at Bridgestone of what we've been able to achieve with the Turanza EV, and we can't wait to get it on our consumers' cars. On behalf of the entire team, I'd like to thank everyone for your time today, and enjoy the expo. And if you have any further questions about the Turanza EV, please come see us at the Bridgestone booth. Thank you.